All right, let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to episode 269 of the KBMOD podcast. It is March 12th, 2017. 269 episodes. Boys.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. I mean, obviously, I'm pointing it out because there's 69 in the title. So I would be remiss not to, especially in a podcast that revolves around discussing if a hot dog's a fucking sandwich every episode. But actually, not every episode. We've kind of calmed down, but you know, questions like that. Sorry, Brad. What were you gonna say?
Go ahead,
Bradley.
I was just gonna say I can't wait for this podcast to be on Pornhub. So.
Oh yeah.
No, Ooh yeah. We'll probably get more retweets on Pornhub than we will on Twitter.
For you audio listeners who just download, you know what? I'm flipping the script on this. You know, for so long, I've shat on the audio listeners, which again, this has been probably a year or 2 years plus that I've reverted on that because I've seen the numbers, and the silent majority are the people that download this cast and listen in their cars, you know, whenever they get time at the gym. But you know, the live audience lately has been really, really slacking. You know, when it comes to the retweets. And I'm just going to call them out right now. Audio listeners, you guys are fine. You guys do your thing. You download the cast every week automatically on whatever app you use. You know, you guys are doing great. To the people that are listening and watching live, like those that do your part, kudos to you. For those that don't, like, look in the mirror. I just want you to go find a mirror, okay? Go find a mirror and look in it and just say, like, what am I doing? What would it take to put a little retweet out? What would it take to say, hey, this podcast has been going on for about 5 years of these people's lives, and you know what? Maybe a little retweet, you know, once a week that they get together, they come over here, they waste about, you know, not waste, but they spend about 4 hours of their time total doing this podcast at night. And you know what? I'm just going to do, oh, look at that time. I'm just going to take it. And I'm not going to give anything back. This is delicious. I'm enjoying it. Okay? Look in the mirror, all right? And I want you to turn it around, and I want you to give back a little bit, okay? For those of you that are doing that, I'm not talking to you. But I'm just talking to the people that know that they're just kind of sitting on their hands. Their hands are literally going numb from their weight, and they could be retweeting. So, anyway, sorry. Just a little
We're
trigger.
definitely going to see a post tomorrow talking about how podcast lashes out, begs for donations, begs for viewership.
Exactly. Hopefully, well, we have to do anymore is create drama. That's really the main thing. So that's all we're trying to do here. But
that'll get the viewers.
But what's different is that for the audio listeners, like I don't have to call it like the audio listeners. You know what? I think I had it backwards. I think I had it backwards for a long time. You know, it's a little sad.
I'd like to take an opportunity to thank every single person watching us live. Please come back in the future.
Wow. I can't even read what Darren said about not retweeting the podcast, but it's pretty funny. But anyway. But no, it's good. So Brandon is not here, as you can tell. I guarantee you he would have stopped me during my tirade right there. He would have been like, whoa, okay, no, let's not alienate all of the
stop
viewers.
The show.
Stop the show. No, there's a lot of great people that listen and watch live. Just talking to people that you know who you are. But no, Brandon is at PAX East. I'm sure, no doubt, enjoying his 4th or 5th trip to Denny's with a group of people, if I had to guess. So he is not with us, but we've got we've got Brad, we've got KD. KD, again, I have to say, you on your new connect, you plugged in, you know, not on Wi-Fi anymore.
Did, yeah.
Look at you,
he's living the life.
He is. Look at you smile. Look at him smile. He has a glow about him.
This is the first pure joy I've felt in as long as I can remember. No more roboting, no more laggy camera.
It really
is for the time being.
It's so nice. Yeah. And to think,
feels great.
All this again. How did you achieve? Did you just end up just running? You just said screw it, and you had to run cable like through.
Yeah. I gave in and bought I think it's 100-footer. Like it's only about like 60 feet from my computer to my modem. Sadly, there's no in between 50 and 100, so there's a lot of leftover cable just sitting there, and it is gonna get run along the wall in the future. But for now, it's just going kind of along the floor. It's pretty small, so it's pretty much impossible to trip on the way it's shaped. So yeah, I mean it's I only pull it out for nights like this and then put it back. But yeah, it's such a great improvement. But I was just tired of I was trying to fix my Wi-Fi for so many times. Or whatever kind of Brandon said it might have been packet loss or something, but yeah, that just never worked out. And so yeah, this cable's been amazing.
It's good. I mean, I'm sure everybody listening live or the audio listeners who download, I'm sure they'll appreciate you being a lot more, crispy, consistent. not disconnecting. So it's good. I'm glad you did it.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you did
Next time I eat guacamole live on the cast, I probably won't disconnect mid bite.
Exactly. All right. So what's been going on? What's been going on in each of your respective lives? Anything exciting this week? Anything to talk about? Brad, did you go to another LAN this week or no? Were you not at a LAN?
Oh, okay.
I'm not even. I swear to God, I'm not even saying that to be like snarky. I feel like every week you're at a LAN.
Totally are.
I'm not. It's not even like a joke. I'm actually curious.
No, so last weekend I wasn't on the cast because I did go to another LAN.
Right.
And that was pretty good. I took my buddy with me, and it was his first LAN, so that was kind of exciting. Because I don't know, if you've never been to a LAN, you should. Any PC game lot, you should. I think everybody should go to one. You know, I think it's different. You know, have you guys ever been to one actually?
Just like a big. I have been to. No, you know what? Yes, but for like CS:GO, or Source related tournaments, not like to just go and just game and play like whatever.
I see. So you went to play in a tournament.
Yeah, exactly. So. But it was still, there was other stuff going on. Like it wasn't just for Source, but.
Yeah, it was like a convention or something.
Exactly.
Right? Or...
Yeah.
Cool.
So no, I haven't really. What about you, Katie? You gone to one? A LAN?
No, I have not yet. I plan to though. Sounds fun.
You definitely should. I think it's interesting. It's unique. It's cool because like you can't ever recreate this where you're all in a server in like a random game or something, like all 60 of you or 30 of you or whatever, and like you can yell across like the convention and like hear someone else like reacting to like you killing them or you taking the objective or something like that. It's just like
True.
It's really unique. Even in tournaments and stuff like that, just being able to meet other gamers or be paired up with other people or win prizes. So it was exciting. You know, took my friend to that, and then just been looking for work. Story of my life as of recently, but yeah, that's about it.
That's good. Okay, cool. Katie, what about you? Anything exciting? Anything happening?
Nothing really.
Okay.
Just hours ago enjoyed a delicious Red Lobster feast.
Ooh,
so that was nice.
Yeah, what'd you get? What's your go-to at Red Lobster?
It was like the lobster lovers thing. It was like shrimp linguine.
You went to the chain. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's only one Red Lobster, Brad. What are you talking about? I don't know.
Well, I thought he was saying he had like a Red Lobster.
Oh, like a
feast.
really.
It was like damn.
Oh no. Yeah, I went to the restaurant. Yeah. I had like the shrimp linguine with like there was a Maine lobster tail and a rock lobster tail with some good French fries. I was trying to think of everything else. I ran out of. I started listing the sides, but no, that was delicious,
dude. Those Cheddar Bay biscuits, dude. Come on.
Oh my god.
Forget about it. I used to make those. I used to have to make those when I worked at Red Lobster.
Like the people I'm with at the table are like, David, you have to stop. You've had 5. Like you're not gonna eat your food. Like I don't care. I need to have more biscuits. Like they're so good.
Yeah.
And dude, I had a really odd thought too. Like I was eating the like shrimp linguine Alfredo and thinking like, man, these little tiny shrimp in this pasta, that's like a life per shrimp. Like for this meal, probably about 30 to 40 lives were taken to produce this. And I'm just, contemplating that as I take another bite of delicious shrimp. And then,
you know what I'm thinking when I'm eating seafood like shrimp? I'm like, wow, these sea insects are so delicious. Who would have guessed? That's what I think. These sea bugs. I'm like, wow, they're like
would have known.
They look disgusting, but they taste so good.
Yeah, and when I was eating that lobster tail, like I don't regularly have lobster.
Sure.
So what am I trying to say? Like peeling the meat away from the shell, and seeing the little oh god, it's just so gross. But I mean, it tasted delicious, but it was weird.
Okay.
But good. Which do you gentlemen prefer, rock lobster or Maine lobster?
Man, I feel like I don't have lobster enough to really even pick because it's expensive. I think I've had probably more Maine lobster tail than I've had rock lobster or whatever what they call from Maine. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Scott, I think honestly, last time I had lobster was at PAX Prime at the time with you.
Oh yeah. When do
I think that's when I.
Where do we? Oh yeah, that was at. That's right. Was Sark there? Was it Sark and John and everybody?
Yeah,
At the
barn door and
at the feast barn door. Okay, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. That was good. That was really good. Yeah, seafood's great. I just don't eat seafood all that often. Are you more like? Do you guys do you like fish as much? See, I love lobster and shrimp and stuff like that. Fish, I'm not like. It depends on the fish. I'll eat fish once in a while, but I'm not a huge fan generally.
Yeah, I don't know. Fish. Like for some reason, I just don't like having just like fish. Like I don't really like the taste of just fish that much. But I can have like shrimp and lobster and like crab legs. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I think for me, it's like I just forget to make it or something because like every time I have fish, it's like, oh, you know what, this is pretty good, and then I like don't make it. You know.
Yeah. That's true. I just didn't grow. I guess I didn't grow up eating much seafood. My family didn't eat much, so I don't think my mom really likes it, so I wasn't exposed to it as much. It was always like we would go out and eat seafood. It wasn't like cooked at home. I feel like it's probably for a lot of people like that. Unless it depends on where you live, as well.
I never crave it. That's the weird thing, right? It's like a burger. I might crave a burger, but like
true.
I never go out of my way to be like, you know what'd be nice? This nice like halibut. Like
that's true. I don't think I've ever That's a really great point. I'm thinking about the cravings that I do have. Yeah, I can't think of ever being like, yeah, I want to have a. Maybe that's not. I do like crab a lot though. I do like crab.
Crab is good, but I wouldn't. That's not really fish though, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway,
sorry, you just blew my mind with the crave. I'm like, do I ever crave? I know. Sorry for the audio listeners. I'm like, do I crave seafood? Like, I don't think I've ever had like you do with like whatever, like you said, like pizza or a burger or whatever else. I don't barbecue. Do I crave Okay, sorry. This is again becoming the food cast. This is what happens when we go down this road. But sorry, Katie, what were you gonna say?
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, when I was going to Red Lobster, like, I know I'm going to have, like, really good food, but you're right, there was no part of me that was like, man, shrimp, I can't wait, you know?
Yeah, no, that's true. No, I really do like shrimp a lot.
It's odd. Huh.
Let me see here. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I had anything too crazy happen this week. Not really. Nothing like, was everybody here last week? Brad wasn't here last week because you were at the LAN, but...
Right.
Katie was here for my elevator story. Were you? Or no? Were you both not here last week? What? Who was here?
That doesn't sound familiar.
You both were not here last week. Katie wasn't here last week, and neither was Brad. Okay, that's never mind. You guys didn't even hear it. Okay. Anyway,
I'll have to go back.
The people that are the people that are listening know what I'm talking about. But no, I didn't have another elevator experience or awkward scenario, so that was good. I pretty much.
Oh no!
You'll have to go. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but you'll have to go and listen. It's at the beginning of the cat of 268, but I just talk about a very awkward experience I had at my apartment's elevator, and I've been working on.
Okay.
Anyway, my homework kind of was just sucking it up and riding it up in elevators with other people, even though I despise doing it if I can avoid it. Even for a short ride, I don't like doing it. So.
It's just so awkward.
It is. And I've been employing some of the headphones. See, the thing is I'm not always carrying headphones with me, but I actually did. I did have headphones in my winter jacket all week. So like if I did feel like there was going to be an interaction, I would just put headphones. Anyway, okay. Maybe I'm not better.
But think about what kind of message that's then. You're in the elevator with somebody, you're both in there, and then you just start putting on headphones. Like what if they wanted to start up a conversation? They're like, so the weather is, and then you just like are already like are putting them on as they're talking.
Yeah.
Like think about what that tells them.
Exactly.
See, Scott, the way I avoid, I don't know if you guys, how much you guys talked about it, but to avoid like awkwardness, I stand right toward the front near where the buttons are. And then as they enter, I just ask what floor they want to go on and I push it in for them. Then they're just behind me the whole time. So it's like, I don't feel weird about it at all. Like if they're not talking to me or something.
That's a really interesting strat. That's a very interesting strat.
Try that strat.
Then you have to talk to people.
No, you don't. You just ask them what floor they want, and then they're like, "Oh, 7."
Right.
And you put it in, and that's it. They're like, "Thank you," and that's it. That's no other thing. You break that silence, and you don't have to talk again.
Here's what happens.
It's
You
not
ask them
bad.
what floor they want. They go, "Hey man, I can pick my own floor."
Dang.
They shove you out of the way.
Dang.
They hit the button. They show off their gun. They say, "Stay on the floor until I get off the elevator."
Jesus. Wow.
And you don't want that to happen, do you?
Wow.
Katie Zen, you live in a place where probably no buildings are taller than 12 feet. So, I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
I was gonna say, do you have to go? You probably don't go in. You don't have to go in elevators that often.
have you seen a mountain before? Like,
Yes, dude. Come on.
like how big was it? Like
There are
100 feet?
mountains.
Like a hill?
Yeah. In my life, I mean, I can't name the exact place, but it's not like I've been in my backyard my whole life, and that's my extent of the world knowledge I have.
I've seen a mountain of corn.
A mountain of corn. I've seen whole fields of wheat before. Like you'd never believe. Damn.
I don't think-
I come on here. I've got people on the cast roasting me, people on the chat roasting me.
Listen.
God.
Hey,
Sorry, bro.
I ain't.
I don't know if
roasting
I can do this anymore,
you.
man.
I ain't roasting you. I know you've seen a mountain. Okay. I know.
I've definitely seen mountains. I've seen a couple mountains.
Yeah, some of those mountains. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Hey, pussy.
Some of the. Jesus Christ.
I don't know
Some of
that
those
was.
Twin Peaks just falling out of those sweaters, right? I know what you're
Yeah,
talking
brother.
about, dude. You've seen some of those mounds before. All right, we're done. I don't know what we're doing.
All right,
Okay, let's,
hey, what have you? What
yeah.
have you guys been playing?
what have we been playing this week? I'll go. You know what? I'm gonna go first because I always, you know, I always go last. You know what? I'm treating myself
Yeah.
tonight. I'm gonna
Switch
go
it up.
first. I'll switch it up. So I've been playing. I recently, I got sucked a little bit into the world of the H1Z1 Battlegrounds. You know, that genre
Yes.
of game type.
Really?
And I didn't really, over the past week, I didn't really get it. You know, you watch people play it, and I'm like, okay, I can kind of see the appeal, but I was like, those games are so buggy, and they seem so frustrating. Why do people keep going back to them time and time again?
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely kind of understand that now, especially, I don't have a ton of time in H1Z1. I've just basically been doing, like, 5s with the group, which is really fun, even if it's, like, it can be frustrating. I played a few solos here and there and had mixed success, but I think the best way to describe the appeal, if you haven't given the games too much time or haven't got bitten by the bug, for people that don't like have any interest in them, is that it's very intense, and it's like the dopamine receptors in your brain, the dopamine that they release when you're having a good game or you have the potential. You're like, oh man, I'm all geared up. I've got a whole bunch of kills. Like I could potentially win this, and then inevitably they're shattered by somebody camping in a fucking bathroom,
Yeah.
or whatever else. Like, yeah, you come crashing down, and you're like, fuck. But then you're so quickly back into the action again. You just queue up again, and it's like, all right, here we go. I'm landing again. It's just that's the adrenaline rush that it continues to give, as frustrating as it is. I think that's why those games are so successful, even though they are buggy and whatever else. And like I kind of get it. I kind of get it.
I didn't get it until like I was top 5 for the first time.
Sure.
You know? And it was like,
Yep.
holy shit! Like I need to win
intense.
this. Like,
Yep.
and then it gets intense because like one wrong turn or one wrong like just move by you ultimately just like ends the last 20 minutes you put into this round, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
and so it's super intense, and especially with like the game being as broken as it is, it's like you have to make sure all your cards are right. Otherwise, like it can be devastating. It's like, oh, I could have won this, you know, if
Right. Like
a card didn't fucking explode by accident or some shit.
I think that's the other part that you're talking about, is like there's so many and that's one thing that makes, again, they're totally different, but games like Counter-Strike and other shooters that even Rainbow Six I'd put in this category, or like there's so many variables, even though you're playing like same thing in H1, you're playing the same map, right? But it's big, and the guns, you're using the same guns, and the equipment's all the same, but the ways that the game can pan out, there's so many infinite possibilities of shit happening that you can always be like, well, I could have done this better. I could have done this better last time, or you know what I mean? Like, okay, that was dumb. I played it in the open, and I gave up I just died. Like, and I think a lot of that stuff where it's like you're feeling like you can always. So sometimes you just get shit on by the game, and that's just obviously that can happen.
Sometimes grenades just don't explode.
Or you're like your shots register or it lags. Like I totally understand that aspect, but on the side of like you're saying, Brad, where once you do, you know, you have a good, even like I feel like one of those good games, like let's say a top 5 finish or whatever, or like even top 10, where it's like, okay, you had a really intense game, you get a bunch of kills. that can be enough to make you play for like to get that same experience again for multiple hours. You know what I mean? And just keep chasing that high. And I guess that's maybe what I'm saying is that it's the whole chasing the high kind of thing that you're trying to do. So anyway, I definitely get it. I get the hype. I think. Sorry, go ahead. What did you say?
I was gonna say like that's why I can't play 5s because I think you can only like for me it's only good in duos or single. But
well, I mean, I think 5s are fun if you really don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like if you're not so much focused on winning, like it's nice to finish and win, especially because there's no fucking spectator client in H1Z1, which is really frustrating. So if you die first, you're like, well, I'll see you guys in 20 minutes or 5 minutes, depending on how quickly this game ends.
Yeah.
So that's really frustrating. But I did get a chance to play. I did get a key from Flom for Battlegrounds. A lot of keys floating around for that. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And from what I've played of it, I really like it a lot. It's definitely like a mix. It's not full Arma and it's not full like H1. It definitely seems like it falls somewhere in between. And it doesn't run all that great right now and stuff like that, so there's definitely some issues. But like the bare bones of it, I feel like the gunplay in that game is really good and feels better.
It's good
and way more consistent than H1 does, as far as like like I'm hitting my shots or I'm not. You know? So I think that's pretty good, and I think it'll be nice to have, I guess, an actual legit contender in that realm. Because really, I mean, H1's the top dog, right? There's not anything player base wise that even comes close to H1Z1. So yeah. So anyway, I guess I would say, because I was on the hate train for a while, people being like, "Oh, everyone's playing this game. I don't get it." Like, give it I don't know. Like, give it a chance. Like, if you've given it a chance and you still don't like it, that's fine. Maybe you just don't like those kind of games. But I totally understand the adrenaline rush side of it and kind of like chasing that high and being like, all right, I can get a top. I can win one of these games out of 185 people. I can be the last one alive. It's like it's not like a crazy concept. But anyway, so I've been playing that and enjoying that, and that was basically probably all the new stuff. Played some Counter-Strike as always, but I just wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Cool.
What about you, Katie? I'm sure you got some games you've been playing.
So I've continued playing Nier Automata. I've been playing the shit out of that game. I'm pretty much done with it now. I finished my second full playthrough and got the platinum trophy and everything, all 26 endings, all that stuff.
Dang.
And
okay.
Yeah, that game is just fantastic. It's just really amazing. I really can't say enough good things about that game. Amazing soundtrack, And the only really flaw I can think of, there are some side quests that really don't tell you what to do outright or are kind of really tedious, but the main real flaw of that game is in there's this balance with the difficulty that's not really balanced too well. So there's easy, normal, hard, very hard, and excuse me. On very hard, everything kills you in one hit, every single thing in the game. And I played through it on normal, which was pretty challenging, but I never really died that much. And so I thought hard mode would be kind of a little balance between those two, but hard mode, everything will 2-shot you, 3-shot you, or even 1-shot you on that difficulty. So, and when you play in that game, when you play one of the harder difficulties, it really it encourages a play style where you just stay away and hold down R1, which is a shoot. You have an infinite ammo gun that does weak damage. So it really just encourages you to stay away and just do that, which is a pretty kind of boring way to play somewhat, but it's really not that big of a deal. Hard mode, you can still every fight in that game on hard mode is pretty intense, because if you just slip up for a second, you're dead. But at the same time, if I wanted that, I would play very hard. But end of the day, that's not really that big of a deal. Nier Automata, that definitely deserves to be nominated for Game of the Year.
Okay.
And if this doesn't win Soundtrack of the Year, I will riot.
I was gonna say, where exactly are you going to riot? Are you going to riot in your hometown streets? Or are you going to go somewhere?
Walk around my neighborhood full of old people with a picket sign, screaming.
What is your cause, young man? Oh man,
I didn't get the soundtrack for my game.
They're gonna be like, what is your game? And they're not gonna be able to pronounce it. And you're like, what is it?
What's it about? well, it's a niche Japanese quirky action RPG, and
you're like, did you say Japanese? Didn't we bomb them in World War II? Yeah.
Oh my god,
it's just gonna.
I'm probably in ripe area for that kind of.
I was just gonna say, anyways, that conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm just gonna walk around punching old people. Yeah, that's gonna be it. But no, other than that, I was at a party a couple days ago, and they actually, the person hosting it had a PSVR, and so I was trying out Resident Evil 7 in VR.
Oh shit!
Which, yeah, that was actually really cool. But
nice.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't really done a lot of VR. Like I've done the Oculus once before, but I feel like there might have been. I'm not sure if you can really adjust the lenses. Like you can adjust the placement or like the setting of the VR in like a ton of different ways. But something about the lenses, it felt like text in the center was really like clear, but everything around it was a bit blurry. I probably just have to adjust it a bit. It's built to where you can wear glasses and wear the headset at the same time, but it kind of like pulls it like further away from your head, which I don't really want that, so I just played it without glasses. But
yeah, I don't know if PSVR does that, but I know Oculus and stuff, they have interchangeable lenses and stuff for different.
Yeah. Like when I was on the Oculus, he was like switching out the lenses back and forth for glasses, and that worked like really perfectly. But yeah, I'm sure there's just like a setting for like calibration, or if not, I'd be disappointed because the thing is fucking $300.
Yeah,
right.
Itself, it's crazy. But yeah, that was fun. Just walking up to like the fence or like one of the fence in like the opening area and just like moving your head around and looking around it. It's just, man, VR is just pretty cool, especially when there's that not just looking around but like moving your body. That's when it gets like crazy for me. But yeah, nothing other than that. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Nier Automata, everybody should play it.
Nier Automata, you heard it here. If it does not win soundtrack of the year, Katie's End, I'm expecting. You know what? Even if you don't riot, I want you to make a picket sign and at least have your like somebody in your family take a picture of you like in your neighborhood with a picket sign.
I'll have
at least that could be pretty memey. Who knows? That sounds like some Reddit upvotes if that gets some traction, dude.
Seriously.
Just me standing in an empty neighborhood with like a painted chest and a picket sign saying like, I'll think of something witty. Or like, where's my award? And it's like 2B's ass. There's like a lot of controversy about the main character's ass in that game.
Oh yeah, what is it, too big or something for people?
So you have this move you can do where you can self-destruct and like just do a big damage on everybody around you, but you don't die, you like still are revived. And that combined with a mechanic where your character's skirt will kind of tear in battle. If you self-destruct, your entire skirt goes away, and you're just in your leotard. Which
how many times did you do that on purpose to see the goods?
So that's where the controversy is coming from. You know, some people, myself, you know, not included.
Right.
But you know. So you can do that, and then apparently like before the game came out, people were like photoshopping a butthole, like they were. Someone took it as like, wow, they have a butthole. Look at how far Japan has gone, and they like darkened the skin around that area, and it was just complete like that was so fake. And so that
I just love that like people are still so upset like that's an issue like that they're I don't know. I guess you could argue about like how sexualized characters and stuff are, but it's like it's fucking it's a butt. Who cares?
But it's realistic.
Yeah, who cares? Like, regardless, like let it, anyway. And then on the other side, we have like we have the Conan stuff with the dicks flopping around on that game.
Yeah.
That open world. It's like, oh, whatever. That's just funny. But no, the Japanese are like people actually upset. Like, what are they discussing the merits of it, or like what are people mad that it is in the game? Or like,
I think it's just like that. How are like I think that stereotype is that Japan always does the most deranged sexy stuff like with tentacles and shit, and then I think people will see that and then assume that their next big line they've crossed is putting a butthole on their character. So but no, there's no butthole in that game.
Okay.
I really don't want to say the word butthole anymore. It's uncomfortable.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all.
Really, you don't want to say butthole anymore? But you were fine. What was your line you said about? Never mind. That was in the pre-show. We won't bring that line up again.
Oh yeah. Let's not look about that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Brad. What have you?
Yeah, and Rocket League. I played that.
Oh, Rocket League. Okay. What have you been playing, Brad?
Nice.
Butthole. Sorry, got it out. I said it for you.
What have I done?
I'm developing Tourette's where I just say butthole because of how many times you said it.
Just at random times, in the middle of prayer.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
I've been playing Rust, of course.
Of course.
And then, what else? Oh, I did try Battlegrounds.
Okay, yeah.
PlayerUnknown's.
And what was your take? What did you think?
Just so you know, the game actually runs better with the quality settings turned up.
I found that out actually because I was having so many issues with it. But then, so I put everything to very low, and it was like, it gave me okay performance. But then I restarted the game and put everything on ultra, and then it was like even more. I was like, what? It's more playable. Yeah. So yeah, because H1 has this thing. All Sham Noel or Mark was having a problem with H1 where it was using like 90% of his CPU when he was playing it, and he's playing on all low settings, and it was just putting all the load on the CPU and not actually sharing it with the GPU at all.
Right.
Really?
So I don't know if it's the same thing in Battlegrounds. Like.
A lot of games do that now. Yeah. So it's so you'll notice that with what other game does that? I think Rust does that as well. It's funny. But yeah, I've been playing Rust. Been playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which I kind of liked, but then I kind of came back to H1 because I like the pace a little better. Like you just move slow in PlayerUnknown's.
It is definitely a slower pace, yeah, movement wise. Definitely. Even vehicles too move way slower in that game than H1.
And I'm a little conflicted because it feels like it's just a blatant ripoff because it's like clearly like there's a lot.
Isn't it the same guy who he owns the
I think it is. Yeah, but at the same time it's like I don't know. Well, H1 doesn't really own the King of the Hill.
Right.
Like we could go way back. Like other games have done this game mode for a long time. I think Arma 2 was doing it. So I mean like this shit's been around, but at the same time it's like we're even parachuting out of stuff where it just feels very recycled.
It just from a glance, like I looked at like gameplay video just a few minutes ago, and it looked like if someone's student project was to recreate H1Z1.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it's good.
Maybe
like,
that's
I like the fact that it's competing in that same space. Like I don't know. I've already seen enough with how shitty the servers with H1 are and the limited time I've played it that if there's going to be a game that's going to come out and actually have like solid registration, you know what I mean? Like, did you feel the gun? I felt like the gunplay for the most part. Most of the kills I've gotten didn't feel random or whatever. I was like, okay, I shot at the guy, I hit him. And if I missed him, I missed him. Like I didn't really feel like I was getting robbed. Again, obviously the game's not released yet, so once like the servers.
So that's
something
I want to talk about.
What did you
think? I played a lot of H1 at LAN because like it's a different game when you have an amazing connection for H1. Because I don't know what they have with their like lag compensation for H1, but it's horrible. And like when I was playing on LAN H1, it was like, oh my god, like this I can never go back home and play this again because it was that much better. Like and like I was doing decent, so it was like, okay, this is obviously affecting my gameplay and stuff. But I don't know, I think the gunplay was amazing though. I do think like some of the guns and stuff, like I could definitely see my hits were registering. It was, I could pick up a gun, I could move, and I could see that, like, I shoot and it does what I expect it to. Like that was nice.
Exactly. So maybe I'm talking about, I guess, like because you said lag compensation. I mean that's the same thing. Counter-Strike has like Go is decent, even on higher ping. It's better than 1.6 or Source ever was. But like if you play Counter-Strike on LAN on 128 tick server, it's just night and day. Nuts. It's the same kind of thing. So I definitely feel what you're saying though on that. That would probably ruin me for H1 too, if I felt that. But
I mean, even driving in a car felt different in H1. It was like, holy shit, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Like, it was nutty. So
yeah.
But yeah, so I played PlayerUnknown, played H1, and then I played Deceit.
Which is
basically like a multiplayer, like uh, you guys ever play? You've played Trouble in Terrorist Town, right? But like,
Yeah.
But it's like a horror type of Trouble in Terrorist Town,
Okay.
which is kind of interesting.
Okay.
And that was kind of fun. And then, I played Paladins.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Okay.
At LAN, which actually was surprisingly fun. So what it is basically, like, people make fun of it because it's become kind of like an Overwatch copy, basically.
Right.
But what they have is like a card system that changes a lot of what your character can do, and it adds a little more. It adds like another element of strategy into the game, and it almost makes it like. It almost made it more enjoyable for me than like Overwatch is, just because like so much can change with your builds and things like that. It was like Overwatch with like a MOBA element into it, like how you do builds and stuff. And so with that, it just felt like way more exciting. Like, oh, I should build this because they have this characters, or like I'm this type of character, or that kind of thing. And it was really fun. But the only problem is like nobody's playing Paladins anymore, and the community's garbage. So, I just played that at LAN because a lot of people are playing it. So
cool. All right.
That was it for me. Oh, I watched. This isn't a game, but I watched Logan.
Yes. What did you think?
Oh yes, me too.
It was good, and you know what? I forgot it was rated R, and they made it very apparent that it was rated R, like right off the bat, and it was amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It's clear that they saw like the success of Deadpool, like from being rated R, and they're like, okay, you know what? We're gonna take it to the next level with Logan, and they did. Like the violence and stuff was just like, this is how superhero movies should be. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I agree with that. It just, excellent movie.
It was excellent. So, but sorry, that wasn't what I played, but
no, that's good. Yeah, we were talking about these last week. You guys should definitely see Get Out before it's out of theaters if you get a chance. Get Out was so good.
Oh, I really want to.
I need to. Yeah.
So good.
We should go, Brad.
You guys should go together. Yeah, you guys should go together. You know what? What is that? That's a small, like, what is that? Like a 20-hour, 25-hour drive?
Oh, at least
straight, maybe more. Probably like.
Yeah. We could probably meet in the middle.
Yeah, meet in the middle.
Oh, we could do that.
You guys could split it like a large Kansas popcorn, get a medium soda, hold hands. Honestly, you should. Yeah, but no, that movie's great in a theater, seeing it with other people because the reactions and stuff are great. You're kind of on the roller coaster. Get Out and see Get Out. I know I've been on this like train, but I need to see Logan because everyone's been telling me it's so good. So hopefully.
Do you think? This week. I think Hugh Jackman should at least get like a nomination for his performance, in my opinion. Like, it was just so good.
I think he's just like, I think he's just been in it so long that he does it well. But it's like, I don't know if it's like groundbreaking, but I think it's pretty good. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just a nomination. Like, I mean,
he won't win.
It's nothing
give him
out of the box, but
give him some
just
a respect nod. I feel you.
Yeah, and because he's just done the role for so long, it'd be kind of like a celebration of that, maybe.
I think there is some, I don't know why, but in the industry, there's some like distaste for superhero movies, and I'm not sure why, but like you don't see a lot of awards going toward like actors and actresses in superhero movies. Like, have you guys noticed that? It's a lot of like, not many performance awards go toward those movies. Now, if we're talking like visual effects or soundtracks or something, like, yes, but I don't know why the industry really favors, like, they turn the other way for those kind of actors, but I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on that? Or?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I definitely see that. I see exactly what you're saying. I mean, it's hard to like. I don't know. It's hard for me to give a fuck about the Oscar. Like, not that it doesn't.
I know.
Not that there aren't actually good movies, but when like you look, it's like it's a whole courting process, and like it's all about usually who spends the most money for their campaign and who schmoozes the most. Not saying that like great movies don't actually win and stuff like that deserve to win, but the whole kind of behind the scenes stuff kind of like taints me on the whole like Academy thing. Where I'm just like, you know what? I don't even. Well, it's a business.
I agree, but then like in the other end, like I feel like we should care because at some point they're supposed to be representative of like the whole industry.
Sure, yeah.
Even though it's like I don't mean to get into politics, but it's like the DNC, like, you know.
Wow.
Like,
Did you just say
I don't know.
DNC?
You don't have to give a shit about it, but you could
Right.
because you care, like for that field. That I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. The thing I thought was funny.
So basically, what Brad is saying is that if Logan doesn't win Best Picture, if Hugh Jackman doesn't win Best Actor, he's going to burn down the DNC. Did I hear that right? Brad?
Exactly.
That was the message I got.
Okay,
yeah.
That's what I got.
Hugh Jackman,
remember that part
2020.
in Logan?
Or yeah, for president.
Do you remember that part in Logan where Hugh Jackman just really starts talking about how much he loves Bernie Sanders?
Yeah, actually,
that was a great part.
Wait, are you spoiling Logan for me? Does he actually? Damn, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
Sorry, my bad.
Don't spoil the whole.
One thing I did love.
Does he feel? He
well,
feels,
I mean, I don't know about love, but when we went to the theater to see it, a trailer for the Sword Art Online movie started playing. And I was just so bewildered, like that would make it too. And I think it was for a showing that wouldn't even be at the theater the trailer was going for. It was like for something in Chicago. I saw it was weird, something so like niche like that would show up. Like just a crowd full of people hearing this anime music.
That is
it's just like hilarious to me.
Nice. Okay.
Well, I saw the Deadpool 2 teaser was pretty good.
Yeah. And that was weird because it was part of the movie. Like,
right.
Did you find that odd at all? Or
no, not at all. Because like Hugh Jackman and what's his name, I think are good friends,
Ryan
and like
Reynolds.
Hugh Jackman is the reason why Deadpool even happened. So.
Oh, okay.
So, I think, and then we see, I think Logan's success because of Deadpool, because they went with rated R, because I think there's definitely a lot of tie-ins there on purpose. So, but yeah, I don't know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, let's jump into what's been going on in KBMOD a little bit here before we jump into some news. And you know what, Brad? Tell me what is on the website right now. What's happening on the website?
So it looks like that we have a couple new pieces. We have a look at a game called Sync by Tim, our staff who noob. He regularly streams on the channel. It's a single-player shooter touted as the love child of Tron, Hotline Miami, Bulletstorm, and Doom. So make sure to check that video out. Yeah. I actually saw the art style of it. It looks amazing, just based on that alone. So, I mean, so that's worth checking out by Tim. And then a first look at Too Dark, or 2D Arc, I don't know, but by Chad. It's a stealth action game centered around a former detective who takes matters into his own hands after a string of child abductions. So that sounds pretty interesting. That's all on kbmod.com. You can find our podcast and other things there. Check it out. So.
kbmod.com.
Cool.
Easy to remember, hard to forget. Oh my God.
Hey.
God, I meant it. Put it on the business card.
That was good.
There we go. All right.
Speaking of things that are hard to forget.
Oh,
it's going to be hard to forget about Discord.
Yes.
Oh,
really?
Perfect. What a segue. Damn. Wow, he's already saying forget though, like Discord, like it's over. That's crazy.
It's just he's digging the hole right now. Like he's already 6 deep.
Dang.
Yeah,
that was a good segue though. I was hoping you would launch off that. That was the kind
of things we couldn't. If Brandon was on the cast, we wouldn't be able to say things.
Exactly. Yeah, we're a little more free. We're a little more.
Yeah, we
right
are. What a cast to talk about Twitch's new desktop app.
Yes.
Which pretty much looks like, for lack of a better term, just a shot right in the head of Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, let's face it, a large amount of the Twitch community all partake in Discord. There are plenty of streamers who, like, directly advertise their channels and have, like, a large amount of their community visiting there. And Twitch is having none of that. So they announced their new Twitch desktop app, which, if you want to take this away, PL.
Sure. I love how combative, though, you made that right away. Like, Twitch, they're having none of it. It's a war. I mean, that's the subtext of this whole thing is that, so Twitch bought Curse, right? And Curse is a gaming voiceover IP client that's been around for a long time. Mm-hmm. And so obviously with Twitch buying Curse, they're going to want to use the technology. They're going to want to integrate it in with Twitch more. And right now, Discord does have access to APIs and connections to Twitch. Like obviously, like, there's Discord and there's Twitch integration in Discord. So if you're like a Twitch sub on somebody's Discord channel, you can, you know, right now they're still, I guess, being friendly. Is that the word maybe that I'm looking for? Like it's not a situation where Twitch is saying like, no, like you got to basically, if you're going to integrate with Twitch stuff, you got to use Curse. I don't know if we're going to be at a point where that ends up happening. That would obviously be a huge blow to Discord if that happened. But right now, this is, like you said, this is definitely a direct competitor to something like Discord. And this is something that is even going to have some more features than Discord has right now, as far as like being able to watch the streams within the app itself, and then having like your Twitch account sync with your Curse account, and then having all that activity happen. Like, so it's not separate, essentially, right? Like right now with Discord, you have a Discord, you might have a Discord account that has your email or whatever else. It might be a different name. Sure, you can sync with Twitch and then get the permissions for your subs or whatever, but it's not the same account. And so it's I don't know. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. I think competition is good and all that stuff. I think, you know, Discord, like, I'm a Discord partner. I mean, Brad and I were there. Like, I always tout this. We were there at the beginning. I mean, at the absolute beginning of Discord. And I was saying, you know what, I don't get a lot of things right, but I was like, this is the future. This is it. Discord's going to be the thing. And when I first started, people were like, oh, what is, and now people, I think it's hard for people to remember a time before Discord, as far as like the convenience of it now with how, and I think they've done a lot of great things with the app. But it's, you know, it's a situation where they're not, you know, Twitch has to keep its own interest at heart here, and, you know, they're going to use the Curse technology. And the kind of the thing that I'm a little concerned about is that you know, the Discord community for my stream in particular is really like, is a really vital part of it. And you spend a lot of time building that community, and then to be like, okay, if I don't do the Curse stuff, or I don't like, and then you're like, but then you're separating your community too, where it's like, well, then do I just give up on Discord and go over to Curse? Because of like the opportunity for maybe more viewers or better integration and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of questions, I think, and it's not as simple as just like competition, I guess, for me. And that's kind of my concern.
Yeah, the other thing to think about is Twitch has been working on its own apps for a little bit, because we have the Twitch desktop app right now that does like game launches for your Prime account. So with your, or what do they call it, Twitch Turbo or whatever, basically when you sync your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch, you sometimes get like a month trial for a game. And that trial is not through Steam. It's not through Origin, whatever. It is through a Twitch launcher. And so with this desktop app, they're looking to integrate that as well. So it's clear that, you know, with the changes Twitch is doing lately, they're looking to expand way farther than just being a streaming platform. And that's apparent with the changes to their front page, doing like, what is that, like basically trying to do something different than Twitter. The acquisition of Curse, their game launcher. So I think this is pretty interesting. I think I'm curious if it's too little too late, because like you said, Scott, like so many people are already on Discord. Like what is it going to take for them to like get those users over on Curse or the desktop app? I know personally I will use it because it's probably going to be a better viewing experience, right?
Exactly.
So just you know, they're gonna, maybe they'll have a notification system that'll actually work, like like with the desktop app.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
Sorry, but it's true.
I mean, you know, there's a lot of questions, and I have to say, like, I'm actually really impressed overall. Like the Curse app that existed maybe a year or so ago, before, I don't know how long Twitch has owned the Curse client and tech, but maybe a year, maybe a little bit less. But it's definitely like, it's really clean. It's really good looking. You know, I still think some of the video and audio stuff needs some work and stuff. But it isn't like a bad looking app. It does borrow very heavily. I don't know, whatever you want to say, or it adopts a lot of the same things that Discord already has. Because Discord does a lot of things right and continues to innovate and, you know, make it easier to connect with people. So I don't know. Like I'm kind of torn because just personally, like I love Discord, and it's been awesome to see it go from when Brad and I were at PAX West, when it was called PAX West, I guess, right? Before it was Prime. I don't even know.
Yeah, it was Prime, I think.
Or was it Prime then? I guess, but you know, they had a card table, and it was like, you know, the 4 dudes, right? And they were like, hey,
in the land section,
in the land
not
section,
even the main hall.
They were behind like a staircase near an elevator. Remember?
Yeah, it was literally in the dark under an escalator. Like it was, you had to go out of your way through a gate, like to a random ass table that had like just a thing over that with 2 laptops and like 4 Discord staff members. Like
no,
we were there at the beginning.
Yep.
And
no, it was, and it really has. Like it's turned out to be like they haven't let me. Discord has not let me down. Like they've gone through their growth spurts, through their issues, getting constantly DDoSed every fucking day, you know, and as they scale up and all that kind of stuff. Like it's really overall, it's really. I feel like since they had another round of investment recently, like it's definitely gotten a lot more rock solid. Like it's a huge business now because they really made a great product. So it is. It's going to take a lot. Like I'm just thinking for myself. It's kind of like it's a catch-22 because in one sense I don't know if I ever want to abandon my Discord server because there's so many good things about it, and people are so used to it, and like it has a lot of great features. But on the other side, it's like I don't want to miss out on, like you said, if the notifications work reliably on the Curse client, if there's certain integration things, whether it's games or giveaways or all. I mean, they're clearly trying to become kind of an all-in-one. They want to do the game launcher in Curse. Like again, once it gets to that point, it's going to be hard to argue as a streamer to be like, I'm not going to get involved in that. You know what I mean? So it's I don't know yet.
Someone in chat said all it would take is to shift the ecosystem to like get the users on Twitch. But the thing is, you have to remember Discord has over 25 million registered users. Like
crazy.
That's nothing to scoff at, or like not a simple switch that you can just do. Like some of these like Discord users are like, are we going to be able to see exclusivity? So like, let's say, Scott, if you wanted to make a sub only Twitch server, could you do that? Like that kind of stuff. Like there's so much Discord already has that like Twitch can't just come in and swoop in 25 million users like right off the bat. Like it's not as simple as turning on a switch.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's kind of the other thing is that usually Twitch isn't in this position. Usually when we're talking about Twitch, it's like we're talking about like YouTube gaming. Like how are they going to get people to watch shit on YouTube, right? Like because the communities are so embedded or whatever. And in this case, this is a situation where Discord was ahead of the curve when it came to this. And, you know, like you said, is it too little too late? I don't think it's too little too late. I definitely think there's like people can have competition, but it's also like even little things like just having people like being like, yeah, you should install Curse now because, yeah, I know we all got used to Discord, but Curse is going to have like you can watch the streams in it and there's more, you know what I mean? Like, so again, you're still doing that elevator pitch again to people. And that alone is annoying to do, to convince people to come on over. So I don't know. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm like discouraged by this because I think there could end up being a lot of really cool stuff that Twitch does with the Curse client, and what I've seen so far, it actually is pretty clean and looks pretty cool. But I don't know. It's I think it kind of remains to be seen. I think like a lot of the questions that we've been talking about are pretty valid. And like, do you guys ever think it's going to go to a point where if they feel like their user bases aren't shifting enough on Discord that they're just going to be like, well, sorry guys, but we're not going to be open anymore to the integration stuff that we used to be in the past? Because
I've talked about this before, I think, on the cast, where it's like nothing is stopping Twitch from being like, you know what, Discord, you don't need to be on our, like, you don't need to be integrated with Twitch any longer.
Right.
And
exactly.
Like, I'm not saying they would do that, but it's like not out of the question because like you have to remember that they purchased Curse for a reason. It is a product and they need to make money on it. Like,
exactly. And if that's one thing, after Amazon bought Twitch, that's one thing. Like regardless, like they're like Amazon, they're not only about their bottom line, but their bottom line is very important to them, and they're a business, right? And they've gotten to where they are because of the cutting cost and also making money on stuff. So they're, you know, it's not like some kind of like buddy thing anymore. Not that, I mean, I think Amazon has done an incredible job since they bought Twitch of not losing the community focus, and they've done a lot of really good things. But they're also, as much as they want their partners and people to enjoy the product and make money, they want to be recouping a lot of money back. So, like you're saying, so it's not a situation where you know, in the past, where before Twitch was bought by Amazon, you could be like, okay, maybe they won't do that. I think that is a real possibility. It's not even that they don't have a right to do it. It would be interesting to see kind of the backlash if that happened, because I think and Twitch is usually pretty good. I mean, they've gotten it wrong a few times, and the community has gotten upset, but they're usually pretty good on feeling it out and not kind of feeling like they're overstepping their bounds or making things too exclusive. But I don't know. It's a different game now that Amazon owns them. So I don't know. Like what I mean, we've used Cursed a bit here and there, right? We're not using Cursed right now just because of Brad generally sometimes can't hear me on the client, so that's a problem with the podcast.
It's got some interesting issues right now.
Yeah, and I don't think it's as well optimized and stuff as like Skype is for video calling and all that kind of stuff. But if all that stuff gets kind of ironed out, and like 2 weeks or last week we did use Cursed and it was perfectly fine, at least for me, Tim, and Brandon. So like it's not that it can't be. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And waiting is always the hardest part. I don't like waiting for anything. I just want to see how it is, because it gives me a little bit of anxiety, because I feel like Discord's in a good place right now, and it's like, all right, let's throw another client into the mix and then kind of add these other intangibles that could end up being really fantastic for streamers. It's like I'm going to have to use it. But I do feel like that I'm going to have, I feel like I'm going to have to be forced to make a decision at some point. I don't think I'm going to be able to sustain a Discord and a Curse, you know what I mean, at the same time, and try to split people. It's like, what do I tell people
too much
to use?
Saturation.
It's way too much. It's way too much. So I don't know. But yeah, definitely very interesting news. Anything to add on that, Katie or Brad, before we move on?
No, it's just very interesting. Like, like two really similar, like almost identical services. Like it just feels like Twitch is trying to snuff out Discord, because like I feel like their mindset was like so much of our community uses this. Why shouldn't we be a part of it, or why shouldn't we be in charge of it? I don't know, something like that. But yeah, I mean, I love Discord, and I don't want it to go away. But I mean, if Twitch, if their service does something like a lot better, then I'll probably switch over to that. We'll see.
Yeah, and I'm not, and also it's probably a little unfair. I feel like I'm a little bit more invested since I stream full time, so I think my anxiety, I don't think the average user maybe is probably thinking about it as much as this. They're probably like you're saying, Katie, like it's like, well, if the experience is going to be better, then fine, I'll use Curse. It's not a big deal. You know what I mean? So I guess I got to keep that in mind too.
Well, I think what you said, Katie's in though. I think they are kind of looking to take a stab directly at Discord, though, because like even the CEO says the result is a one-stop shop for connecting members of our community. Right. Like that's what they intend the desktop app to be, which includes friends, whispers, activity share, and soon a game library of purchases fulfilled by Twitch. And then we can see in the screenshots and everything too. You'll be able to watch the streams. They'll have dedicated servers. I don't know. They already have video calls. I mean, that's a huge step. And we've been asking forever for Discord to come out with this, but
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it'll be curious to see how this plays out. You'll be able to try the beta on March 16th for the desktop app. I think it's for everybody, as far as I know. So, yeah.
All right.
I think that's it for the Twitch app.
That's it for that. Let's move on to a study that suggests, believe it or not, boys, that video games actually don't desensitize you to violence and other nefarious things that politicians so often like to point to as why this happened or that happened, right? So this is pretty interesting. This was a study done by some German scientists that shows a stark contrast to the general aggression model. They used a small testing group that showed using a small testing group, they showed emotionally charged images to see if gaming desensitized players. They found that desensitization from violent media may actually be pretty short-lived. And it basically, and I'm glad that they're actually doing research like this, because again, this won't be the end-all be-all, because video games are always in the crosshairs when anything happens, right? It's like, oh, well, he played Call of Duty. He owned the original Doom on floppy disk. It must be that, right? So basically with the research, they showed 15 gamers emotionally provocative images while their brains were being scanned by an fMRI. During the test, they found no difference in their brains between them and the control group they were talking about earlier. Of course, to ensure this was tested on the long-term effects and not just short-term ones, they hadn't played video games for at least 3 hours prior to the testing to try to give like an accurate sample size. And they said that in the study, they said, while the typical pattern of activations for empathy and theory of mind networks was seen, both groups showed no difference in brain responses. We interpret our results as evidence against the desensitization hypothesis and suggest that the impact of violent media on emotional processing may be rather acute and short-lived. So that basically saying that if, somebody experiences a violent video game, that whole like they get revved up and then it's like, oh, let me get online and look up how to build a bomb. You know what I mean? And then over the long term, like it doesn't translate to that kind of stuff. And these emotional outbursts and stuff, generally there's other factors at play. I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, this isn't shocking to me, but again, this is a little bit more of like some hard science being done.
I think it's, for me at least, I think I do feel a little desensitized for some things, but like I don't think it's video games. I think it's like Live Leak. That's like
yes. Oh, absolutely. Sure. Yeah, that's true.
Because I feel like I think it takes a lot to shock me because I've seen some stupid shit on the internet.
Yep.
But I don't think it's video games. It's never been video games because I feel like video games, there's always a disconnect between like real life and the games you're playing. Mm-hmm. But like shit like Live Leak,
you see people real, die. Happened. Absolutely. No, I think that's pretty fair. But again, would you say that because you've seen shit on Live Leak that desensitized you, that you would go out and do something heinous because it's like no, you're not gonna you're not.
I wouldn't say I would do something, but I do think that like if I saw a picture like their controls, I think I would definitely like I don't know if it fazed me as much.
So you would have them tweak the study a little bit to more have them instead of video games, like have them on Live Leak for an hour. And then do the study. That's
I'd be curious to see what that looked like.
That's a really good point. Because I agree now thinking about that. I saw so much. I've seen so much fucked up shit when I was on LimeWire, downloading songs. Back in the day.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, or Kazaa. And like it's like Faces of Death or whatever else. If you don't know what that is, just save yourself the problem. Don't look it up. But really shit that like in your formative years as a teenager or younger, that shock you and repulse you, but then like once you've seen them, like you said, it's hard to it takes a lot. Same thing for me, Brad. Like I can look up some pretty fucked up shit and be okay and be like, or at least like on the surface be okay and be like, well, I've seen worse stuff than that, so it doesn't really affect me as much. Not that it makes me I would also separate it this way though. When you say desensitized, it doesn't mean that I don't feel bad or that I can't empathize, but it doesn't like I don't get like a violent like physical reaction to it.
No, I'm getting that.
It's more
getting to that as well. Like I'm not like I don't feel for other humans or something like that's
right. Exactly.
That's not what I'm saying. It's like I'm not personally shocked when I see something. I feel like maybe I've gained a sense of reality to some stuff. Like I don't know if that's how I'd word it, but because I feel like what people feel when they first see some of this stuff is like is shock, like because they haven't seen it before. But I'm not saying I'm desensitized. Like I'm not just gonna go out of my way to like
numb yourself, dude. Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, dude. By the way, have you heard the new Linkin Park? Oh my God, they have gone.
No.
They have gone full Oh my! You wouldn't know it's Linkin Park, except well, the vocals are pretty. You can tell because what's the lead singer's name? He's got a very distinct voice, but you would never guess. I'm gonna send it to you, Brad. You won't believe it. You won't believe it.
If it's anything like that garbage band 21 Pilots.
Oh God, here we go. Okay. I'll send it to you.
Wait, do you actually like them?
I'm not going to get into 21 Pilots right now because everyone's on the 21 Pilot hate bandwagon. It's like I've listened to 21 Pilots for so many years before they were ever big that I'm like such a hipster, and yeah, so I won't get into it. But I also like their old stuff a lot more than a lot of their newer stuff, but they're just the flavor of the month to hate. A lot of people hate them.
What's the negative argument towards 21 Pilots?
That they're only for like edgy. They get hated on especially because of their fan base too, because a lot of their fan base is like teenage girls, and they're like, and everyone's like, oh, they're just like these. They try to be edgy, or whatever else. And it's like, no, like actually go back and listen to their old stuff is fucking really good. Anyway, I'm getting triggered. Brad's triggering me right now. I just can't.
Sorry, man.
No, it's okay. I just don't. Oh, man. Ever since they were just 9 pilots, yeah, that's true. They added too many band members. That was the problem. But
okay, can we talk about for Panic at the Disco why they're still relevant? Like,
are they still relevant?
Dude, they're selling out stadiums.
Good. I love Panic
concerts.
How are you gonna hate on Panic?
No, I'm not saying it, but I just don't know why they're so popular.
I think nostalgia because their breadth of work is so good.
Stadiums
though is pretty shocking though. You're right. That's pretty crazy. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Like, I don't know what's causing this popularity because it's like I hear a shit ton of 21 Pilots on the radio, but then I see Panic at the Disco like selling out stadiums for old music.
I think that has a lot to do with Brandon Urie,
who's the Bachelor,
who's
on the radio a lot.
Yeah, who's super hot. Brandon Urie is like, come on, tell me you wouldn't like. He's so hot. I want to put him in chat.
Oh yeah, I think
honestly though, I think his hotness. I think his hotness contributes to how popular they still are.
100%. Yeah.
Come on, it's like fuck off, dude. Really, I'm literally looking at pictures of him right now, and I'm like, just fuck off. It's too much.
You have no right. You have no right to look this good.
Yeah, you don't. And he seems like a genuinely nice dude. Like I've actually seen interviews with him, and it's like he seems like.
Yeah, he was. I saw a video. He's giving like a house tour, and he does play on Xbox One, which is pretty unfortunate. But he started talking about how he's playing Alien Isolation.
Oh, see,
damn,
see,
that's some solid taste.
That is. That's good. He didn't just be like one of those like trying to prove himself. Like I play Call of Duty, dude. It's like fuck off.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Just got the new Wildlands.
I was just thinking about this. You know how you have your hall pass or whatever. If you're with somebody, it's like, who's your hall pass? I think he's my hall pass. Where really? I don't know if you ever heard that, Katie, but it's like you get one person that if you ever come across your significant other that they can sleep with no consequences.
Okay.
It's called a hall
pass.
He's
your hall pass.
He's my hall pass. If Tab and I were ever out and I saw him and somehow he propositioned me or I propositioned him and it went through, she would just be like, okay, that's fine. You used it. Yeah. Anyway.
Just think of the experience, like you don't even have to be like attracted to him. Just one of the few, you could be one of the few people on Earth to have a romantic experience with Brandon Urie.
That's true. That's a good point.
That is a treasure.
I doubt like this. Wait, how one of two? See, I feel like I think he's married. Actually, I don't know. But
he is definitely married.
I'm sure he had many romantic experiences with many people when he was on tour. I'm guessing. All right, wow. Well, this podcast really went off the rails.
Well, I can bring it back to gaming. I know their photographer, videographer personally. I went to college with him.
Nice.
If anybody could get them a Nintendo Switch, they're actually looking for one. So.
Oh, that could be my end. Okay, I'll see what I can do. I don't know. I don't think I have any ends anywhere for that, but.
Yeah, so it's actually a problem because they're on tour right now.
Yeah.
And like they can't. It's sold out everywhere. So like, they can't like ship it somewhere because they're on tour constantly. So it's like
I was just gonna say, like I would think they would have the advantage because they would be going to all these different towns and maybe they would find one. But if you're saying it's out on all the brick and mortars, like
yeah, I think they're always on the road, and when they're in town, they're like just there to like set up and like get ready for the show. Because like I said, they're doing huge shows now where it's like no joke. Like they sold out Madison Square Garden or something like that.
That is
like,
crazy.
That's crazy.
Damn.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
But yeah, so if anybody has a spare Switch, Panic at the Disco is looking for one.
There's some big Panic at the Disco fans in here in chat right now, so maybe you'll get somebody to send one to them. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, APL, let me ask you.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of James Cameron?
Wow. You knew this would trigger me, didn't you?
Because you're going to have to wait quite a while for his next film that I'm sure you're very excited for.
I'm so triggered.
Our next piece of news, another Avatar film won't happen in 2018.
Oh, no.
So until after that year, much to the chagrin, I'm sure, of you.
Can I ask, okay, because again, I suffer from watching cable television, and I pay for it, so I have to watch it. But recently these ads have started, and this isn't even related to this necessarily, but fucking the amusement park or whatever, Pandora, they're doing ads for this. And I'm literally sitting here, I'm watching, because it doesn't start out right away to say that it's amusement park Pandora. It starts out with this woman and her daughter walking around, this like 12-year-old girl, and they're like looking, and it's kind of like, it almost looks Star Wars like, it almost, you can't really tell. And then the terrible fucking CG flying things from Avatar come in, and it's like, explore the world of Pandora. And I'm like, is there a single child in the fucking universe who gives a fuck, or parent that gives a fuck about Avatar anymore? I'm honestly asking, because I can't, like, I'm sure the experience is cool. I'm sure, like, it's actually probably a pretty cool, whatever, park that they have set up. But, like, how irrelevant is Avatar? I mean, maybe it's not. I know it, I know it was a huge event or whatever because of the tech. But, like, I went and I was like, God, I don't want to rant on it. But I was like, yeah, the tech's cool, but, like, the movie's fucking way too long. And it's fucking Pocahontas. And it's fucking old-ass material. And... like, what about you guys? Like, James Cameron has done some great films, and he's an interesting guy. But the whole Avatar thing, I'm like, dude, that's like one of those passion projects where I'm like, I'm impressed that he willed it into existence. But after me and many of the world saw the product, we're like, I'm sorry, dude, like, it doesn't do anything for me at all. Especially with the breadth of like so many other cool sci-fi and like fantasy universes. I couldn't give a shit. Now maybe that's me. Feel free to have a dissenting opinion. I'm very strong.
I just think it's like, well, it's still surprising to me that not only are they confirming that it's the second Avatar is happening, more than 9 years later after the first one.
Is it 9 years? That's what I mean. You thought it was 4 or 5, Kitty. It's almost 10 years.
That's not the only crazy part. They're also making 4 avatars at once. So it's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like, and he said in this, it took us 4.5 years to make one movie, and now we're making 4. We're full tilt boogie right now. Cameron added.
I'm full tilt, James. I'm full tilt.
I think a lot of it's just because like 20th Century Fox just saw the numbers, the raw numbers, because they even address here that they made $2.8 billion worldwide.
You're right.
That doesn't. They see that as like, holy shit! Just think of 4 more movies. Like,
how much money
amazing.
we can make. Yeah.
But like, at the same time, they have somebody in there has to be like, just because we made a shit ton of money on this doesn't mean they were necessarily good and people are gonna come see a second.
No,
one.
that's true.
Like,
yeah,
that's true. And you're right. No, monetarily, it makes a lot. I mean, it broke all kinds of. Like, you're right. He's got Titanic. He's got Avatar. Like, the man can make a box office smash and whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, I understand that, but it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make it a good movie. It doesn't, because it's not.
Yeah,
it's not a good movie. And I don't even think the world. Like, it's not terrible, but I don't even think the world and what they've offered up was even that compelling. Like, I tried to go in. I tried to go in because there was so much hype around it. And I did try to go in, like, not having, like, forming an opinion in the negative to just be the Debbie Downer. And so I really felt like I gave it a chance. And when I came out of it, I was just like, I don't get it. I don't get why. But it was kind of, it wasn't, I guess it went 9 years ago. I'm trying to put myself in that headspace. It was like you had to go see it. You had to go see it in 3D, obviously. Like,
it was like a tech demo, basically. It was like, okay, everyone had to see it because it's like, every single TV was doing, like every store selling TVs was doing, like, Avatar is their like benchmark for like, whoa, look at all the colors and stuff like that.
That's right.
And people were going to see it just in 3D because it was like groundbreaking, quote unquote, at the time, tech that they were using. But now it's like,
it looks
okay,
so dated,
well,
by the way, now that you say like 9 years ago, because like even watching the assets that they used for that commercial that I was talking about, I was like, this looks like fucking Phantom Menace CG. And that's not good. It looks really rough. It looks really rough. Obviously, again, you have to, for the time and stuff. Obviously, there's certain.
Yeah,
things
you have to
age
put
better
yourself
than
back.
others. You have to
8 years at this point,
it
right?
hasn't aged
So
great for me,
you have to think, what else was going on in 2009? Like, I don't know. It's like, have you ever watched the first Toy Story again? It's like, holy shit! Like, that's not a dog. Like, what is that?
Yeah,
but
exactly. No, that's true.
You're right. Yeah.
You're right.
But I don't know.
I mean,
yeah, whatever.
Like, I think about Avatar, and like it came out in 2009, and I mean, what was I? I was probably 13. So like I remember
Sure.
feeling fondly. Like, I thought Avatar was a great movie when I was 13, so I probably wasn't really like critical of it back then. So, but yeah, I need to watch it again because I mean, I hear too many negative things about it after like watching it so long ago.
Wasn't it like 3?
But
I just remember it being so long. I remember it being so long.
Yeah, well, I just looked it up. It was 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Okay, yeah,
it's insane.
What?
No. Yeah, it's a 2 hour and 40 minute runtime for Avatar.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
We're not trolling you, dude. I'm not kidding. It's a fucking long one. It's like,
dude, no way.
Yes.
Now imagine. Now this is what I'm saying. One thing I haven't done is I haven't tried to watch it like on a small screen because that would be more excruciating. Because when you're sitting in the 3D and what you're kind of like the whole. Can you imagine 2 hours and 40 minutes? We should, Katie. We really should try. We should get we should watch it. Like try to watch it this week and then report back. I don't even know if I want to
take away
3
all
hours
visual spectacle
and then just sit in front of your TV and watch it because I feel like it would probably be a lot tougher to hold up.
Yeah, that would be tough.
Yeah.
That would be like watching. Can't think of anything, but yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
I was trying to think like, what other movie has something that's just like a selling point for it? Like, and anyways, hey, so Steam.
Nice. Go ahead. Segue away.
Yeah. So, anyone else have anything they want to add about this surely great movie not showing until after 2018?
No.
It's fine.
Okay.
I've already talked too much about it.
So I think we a while ago we talked about how like there's going to be a new change to the Steam user reviews where if you received the game for free from like
it would label it.
Yep.
Yeah, it would label if you got it from like a code from the developer or something like that. Any review you would put up would be like labeled that way, and it would be like not only labeled but not really put into like a high priority of being viewed by people like just going to the store. And it looks like that change is going to start going into effect pretty soon. Or it says.
I think what's changing here is previously it would just label it as like this person got it for a code rather than like
effect what it was. Or
so if you went to their page, you would see it had a score of this, and then you would read the reviews and you could see which person bought the game and then actually got a code for it. But now they're saying that they're going to take the people that receive the codes for the game and take their score of the game completely out of the equation.
Yep.
So like you could still read their reviews, but like the scores you'll see in the store are just simply only from people that have bought through Steam. So and they're rolling that out, which I find pretty interesting.
I definitely get the mindset behind this change. Like, if you put money into something, you have more of an investment. But at the same time, it'd be like, if you got this, if you put money into it, like you might be like obligated to have like a more positive opinion of it. Maybe. I definitely see the latter.
Can I just say the comments on this post are fucking lit. People are mad. People are like,
oh yeah,
this is a horrible idea. This is another non-fix by Valve because they don't want to do any fucking work because the review system's already broken. And I agree. Like talking about how there's bots, it's fucking tryhards trying to be memey. It's like not an actual representation. People go in.
This is a good one here from. Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say, I see the system as, like, at first I saw it as like a form of censorship, I guess.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking about it more. It's like, you know what you take out of this sort of is bias from people that have bought it for like a cheaper price. So it's like, you know what I see a lot of times is people buying a game for like $5 off or something is like for a $10 game or whatever, you know, which is pretty good.
Right.
Whereas like if you're buying it through Steam, you know what the prices have been, you know how this person got it, and they're giving a review based on the same price that you're about to buy the game on. So it's like this person might be reviewing it from your similar standpoint. Like, I'm on Steam, I want to buy a game. Is it good for this set of money? Instead of like tainting the reviews with people that got it for free, for review, for off G2A, whatever it might be. You see it from people in your same standpoint, and I kind of like that, actually. I don't know.
Yeah, some of these comments are yeah, I mean, I like when people go in on Valve whenever, but just because I'm a I don't know. So like one of the comments is saying like what there should be include a neutral setting for people to not vote for or against. They're saying that the way that you're setting this up is that it's already flawed because it's like it's too extreme, right? They feel I mean, because you can do a rating, so it's like instead of making it like for or against, let users make settings that include keys, free copies, gifts, and other options. And like basically like you can say like how you got it and well as direct sales, and that should all be factored in. Obviously that's complicated, so I don't know if that would be the best solution, but they're also saying that this should only apply to new reviews and it shouldn't be retroactive either. That's the other thing that people are saying.
Right. So this review change is rolling out to all games, just so people know. This is a big thig for developers.
Yeah, exactly.
As well.
Developers would be concerned. Yeah.
This could ultimately change a lot of. I would say a lot of reviews, because it's like games like Mafia 3, for instance. Like you could literally buy that game for like $5 on sale through resellers right now.
Yep.
And those people can buy the game and then just choose to shit on the game because they're unhappy with the product.
Yep.
Like,
exactly.
Once they take that away, like, I think that's definitely going to change for some people positively and some people negatively, because like, think about the people that are going to review and keep Mafia 3 now, like through Steam. Like, if you bought it for $30 and you're still playing it and you didn't return it and you reviewed it, chances are, in my mind, you're going to have a little bias toward the game in a positive manner compared to somebody that bought it for $5 and can't return it. Like, see what I'm saying here? Like, there's that can really change how your game is perceived on Steam now. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
It will be interesting to see how it goes. We'll keep an eye on it because like we said, we had reported or talked about this quite a while ago, when these changes were first announced or that they would be coming. So again, they're still tweaking it. We'll see what the final version will be. I mean, I'm sure it's going to continue to be a work in progress. This next one, speaking of a work in progress, Ubisoft servers, right? Maybe this has something to do with the player base. Who knows? Or maybe this game wasn't actually a $60 game at all, like most of us realized after playing the public or private or closed beta. For Honor has lost half of its player base in the first 2 weeks on Steam.
Which is
thoughts on that, boys? Which is not shocking to me, by the way, at all.
I don't think it's shocking to me either. I definitely knew going into it, like, I just didn't see the appeal, the $60 appeal. I was like, for a multiplayer game,
no, like not for 60. Absolutely.
No way.
And again, the thing is, it's funny because I know we love to knock Ubisoft and Uplay and all that shit, but the truth is the game actually was really well optimized, ran really well on most rigs, which is not something that you would normally expect. The actual mechanics were decently solid when the servers, because there's peer-to-peer stuff. Oh, God. Anyway, there's a lot of problems with it. But, like, when it was fun, it was, like, decent, but it just didn't feel like there was near enough content to justify $60. And there's very few people that I know that actually purchased it for that price. And So again, I don't know. Like, that doesn't really matter for people. Like, so I guess the real question is, what does this teach Ubisoft? Or because obviously, I guess they probably want people to continue to be playing it so that they, for microtransactions and stuff in the future, or DLC passes. But it's a $60 game, and so if they got the initial, just like it's the same thing with The Division, right? Didn't they sell something like 10.5 million? They sold something insane for The Division. I remember the numbers being nuts, where between console, PC, and whatever else. And we were like, to me, it was like, not that The Division was a bad game, but remember like the way that it was coded, there was tons of cheating that couldn't be fixed because of the way the game was coded, and everything was client side. It's like, what, like they already got their $60 from all the people that bought that game. So even if the player base dies, I mean, sure, that maybe means that future revenue, they don't get as much from DLC, but like, is that considered even a failure at that point? It's like, well, we lost a lot of our player base, but we got, you know, how many millions of people to buy the game for $60? So it's monetarily a success. We made more than enough of our money back.
Well,
but I don't know.
I think you should take that and then apply that to Rainbow Six Siege.
Sure.
Like, does that change your opinion or thoughts at all? Because like, wasn't their launch pretty bad? I mean, they sold a lot of games, but like,
yes, their launch. I didn't get into the Rainbow Six fray until very recently, but yes, I've heard that the launch was very bad. The game was very broken for a long time, or just not near the quality that it was now. However, I don't think they ever shed. I don't think player base wise, I don't know. I'm speaking out of my ass, but I don't remember ever hearing that they shed their player base, because I think the core mechanics of the shooter, and maybe just even having the Rainbow Six tag on the game, kept people playing it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like, this is a new IP. Rainbow Six isn't a new IP. Like, you know what you're getting into with Rainbow Six, even if it's a newer version of it. And this is something that is new, and you're having to get people to be like, okay, do I want to play something like this? This isn't something that I've seen necessarily before. I know we're talking about Chivalry and whatever else, but this is like a AAA attempt at a close quarters combat fighting game in this vein. It's not something that's really been done before. So I don't know. My guess is that it doesn't really teach them anything, and that they'll be happy with the money and continue to. I mean, and again, like you're saying, I'm not saying that they won't improve the game. Maybe they will. I just think it's hard once you lose your player base. It's really hard to get them back. Like how are they going to get people to come back to the game? If people are that uninterested after 2 weeks, that's a pretty big deal.
I think Ubisoft definitely. This is a problem, I think, with big publishers and companies like Ubisoft and EA and stuff like that. So many companies are forcing their developers to have a product ready by a certain date.
Sure.
And like it referenced to the Division, or we're talking about Rainbow Six and all. They've had so many bad launches recently where the player base just falls off, but then the developers continue to support it and the community comes back. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the problem with these big AAA like companies right now. And I think that's like Battlefield 4 with EA, for instance. Like, that was so rough at launch.
Yep.
But I feel like it's because of these rushed, botched launches that they're like, you got to push it out here right now. Like, and we're seeing games like this with fall off like this. And I think it's going to take a lot to change them. I think the good people here are the developers for continuing to support their games, but what's killing them, hurting them, is the corporate structure and
sure.
mentality
no,
to
you're
it all.
Right.
So
you're right. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Like, again, it's easy to like kind of demonize like Ubisoft and Uplay as a whole, but you're right. There's so many other, and same thing with Activision or whatever else. It's like the people working on these games. Like, I'm sure that they are not. You know what I mean? Like, no one wants to make a game that people are going to malign or be like, yeah, it's just a cash grab. Do you know what I mean? I mean, maybe some people do, but yeah, like, you're totally right.
Somebody in chat said, though, if you don't have a deadline for a game, you end up with No Man's Sky's problem. All the time in the world leads to creative stagnation. No Man's Sky, completely different issue, because they straight out said, we have all these things, hyped up the studio, the developers themselves, not the publisher. Like, PlayStation said these things.
That's
the
true.
Developers came out and said, we have all these things, like multiplayer, being able to see other people, the odds and of seeing other people, all this promises, and they just simply didn't deliver. But like I said, with deadlines, you know, the publishers in these companies set these deadlines, the developers deliver, and sometimes it's not a good package, and then later on they continue to support it.
Sure.
And we just saw them push out a huge update with like vehicles, kind of sharing bases with other people for free, and that was the developers doing that. That wasn't, well, that I'm pretty sure PlayStation probably said like, holy shit, look at all this negative backlash, but like,
right.
I think that is a byproduct of deadlines. Like it has to be. I don't know what else it'd be, you know. I don't know. That kind of, I just saw that in chat. I thought it was worth mentioning.
Yeah. So how many of us here own For Honor for $60, by the way?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Yep, I know. Like I said, I can count the number of people that because I always ask my chat, and there's like maybe 1 or 2 of my subs who actually own the game. And, I mean,
well, I just thought when I played, it was like, well, I can't play this. Like, people with a controller have a clear advantage over somebody with a keyboard and mouse. So it's like, I immediately was turned off with that. But then once I knew about the price tag, it was like, for a multiplayer only IP, like, I'm not paying $60.
Right. Exactly. Again, 30, I don't know, even 30 for me is a steep. I'll get it for like 20 or 15 when it's on some summer sale. Probably, because that's worth it for me. But I don't know. But there you go. So, real quick, let's talk about a game that isn't having any problems with selling copies or dwindling player base. Rocket League has passed 10.5 million in copies sold, which is a pretty crazy number. And obviously, that's a game that the community really loves. Katie Zen, I know you are a very aggressive, I was going to say an aggressive Rocket League player, like an aggressive sniper. But you play a lot of Rocket League.
Yeah.
And
I've been known to enjoy Rocket League.
Yeah. So that's pretty nuts.
We were just talking about a multiplayer only IP where Rocket League is strictly multiplayer only. There's no story to it. It's just good mechanics, good gameplay.
Right.
For what I feel is an appropriate price, which is $30, right? So I mean,
it's
like
20.
Oh, is it? Wow.
20. So I mean, like,
I might be wrong.
So, but I feel like they got it. You know, they made it.
Their price point made a lot of sense. Yeah.
It makes sense. It's the platform, the gameplay, everything. It just it's well polished. Their updates seem magnificent as far as I can tell. Microtransactions make sense, which is just purely cosmetic as far as I can tell, if I remember right. And so, to be honest, I don't see 10.5 million copies like much of a surprise. No. They like nailed every single part of their launch and their updates, in my opinion. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Totally. No, I'm the same mindset. Not shocked. Good community feedback. Good, like doing good by the community. Knowing their player base.
Not doing peer-to-peer servers. Right. Like, holy shit.
Yeah,
you know,
crazy.
Who
would have thought? You know, it cost. I'm sure it cost a fucking ton of money, but they, you know, invested into it, and it makes all the difference. I also found out that Rainbow Six Siege is peer to peer.
Is it really?
Yeah. I gotta get the exact info on it. From what I heard, it's a hybrid. Like, so there are servers for stuff, but the main, I don't know. Someone said that it's basically peer to peer, and that. But the thing is, for the most part, with Rainbow Six, sometimes you'll see really funky stuff, which makes me go like, yeah, that's peer-to-peer, because that doesn't make any sense.
Makes you scratch your head.
Yeah, and then other times it'll be really on, so I don't know. I might be – I got to get the full details, but I had heard that like that too, and that kind of made me really mad. But the thing is, for the most part, that game, even though frustrating, doesn't have a lot of the same problems that other peer-to-peer games like Call of Duty and stuff seem to have as often. Okay, so it is. Yeah. Ghosty said it is peer-to-peer. So that makes sense. Where I'm like, I couldn't see that guy or this and that. So for some reason, I don't know. I guess I like the game, so maybe I excuse it more. But I don't feel myself getting quite as frustrated with Rainbow Six as some other games like that. But
well, with like Rainbow Six, it's it's more strategy than anything else. Where like For Honor was like straight up like you have to straight up be quicker than the other person with your like reflexes. And so like if somebody else is the host and I'm connecting to his server, like he has the clear advantage for that millisecond of like I need to react in time, right? Yeah, sure. It just does not make sense for the game style, the gameplay. No. Where Rainbow Six, I guess you can kind of get away with a little bit, but
sure. I mean, it still shows through. It still shows through, but yeah,
it definitely still shows.
You're right.
But
it's a little different.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah. I still think if any game's trying to be serious competitively, let's like just talking about that for a second.
Sure.
Like you should have dedicated servers. Like in my mind, Absolutely. There's like that's what Rocket League also gets down quite well. It's like there's if you're getting rubber banding or something, it is the server's problem, not a problem between you and the host, right? So with Rainbow Six or For Honor, like how can you confidently say like this is a competitive esport or anything? Like Rainbow Six is still trying to do that with like teams or competitions. It's like I don't think you should be able to say that without providing decent dedicated servers. Like I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Sorry, I for some reason this made me want to rant a little bit, but like I don't know. But yeah, back to the subject. Like Rocket League passed 10.5 million sales, and they don't plan on doing a sequel anytime soon.
Yeah, that's the other thing they said. Yeah, which makes sense. They want to continue to build out the game and keep the experience good. And again, it just goes to show, like, hey, if you make a good product, if you do, good by your customers, you have a good price point, you have dedicated servers, success does seem to be able to find you. But they're obviously a different situation. They're not owned by, like, Ubisoft, right, or like a NIer. So they're able to do this kind of stuff and stay, I don't know, I guess honest or whatever else. And because of their success from the amount of money that they've made, they had a small studio when they first started, making it and then expanded. So obviously that's kind of like the dream, that you can kind of exist in an industry where for the most part, again, I mean, sure, there's like indie is still big and all that kind of stuff, but for a game that is this successful, it's I guess there's not too many to point to that still kind of have their autonomy, right? And can do stuff like this. So
I think we've talked about this in the past where I think Call of Duty should honestly take the Rocket League model to heart or something like that, where they release one game and then like they just push out updates and keep people playing.
Yeah,
like
I would love that.
Totally.
Honestly, I think they should see the success and consider it. But I think big publishers and stuff are still stuck in that mindset of like, oh, we get this many sales for every release we do every year. That I don't think we'll ever see it with Call of Duty, but I don't know.
Did we talk about the new DLC coming out for Modern Warfare Remastered and like controversy behind that? Or
wait, they have DLC coming? That's
so you know how COD 4 had the variety map pack, right?
Yeah, they're doing
that is being released again as paid DLC, and it costs $15 instead of the $10 that it costed on 360
That's
PS3.
Incredible.
Yeah,
that's fucking incredible. They don't give a fuck.
It's unbelievable.
That's pretty crazy considering you can't buy the remaster on its own still, right?
Yeah, it's paid DLC for the paid DLC, or for the pre-order bonus. It's just, and they already had like maps come out before that were free, and now they're just, it just makes no sense. It's just, oh my god.
Not shocking.
That's a rant right there. Just how much Activision fucks over their players, like how they added in just new guns to the game. Insane. Did you hear about that?
No.
God.
Wait, they just added new games to the remaster, or new guns
they
to
added,
the remaster?
Yeah, they added new weapons. They added supply drop only weapons. There's like an auto shotgun and a Magnum in Call of Duty 4 Remastered.
What the
It's fucking unbelievable.
Wow. Honestly, for me, Call of Duty as a franchise can't die soon enough. I think I say that
Yeah, I can't fucking wait.
Zero.
I mean, I would love for what you said, Brad, to happen. Like, I feel like that would be the best route for it to go, for it to take. But I mean, I wouldn't. I don't want it to continue how it's been going. Like,
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
It's crazy.
Just no respect for the players, people.
I mean, I can feel like I'm getting shit on with CS:GO, and a lot of times I am, but like Valve hasn't. I'm trying to think if they've done an equivalent of something quite that bad. We had like the sprays and shit, which are pretty bad.
Yeah,
but I don't think we've had a grievance quite that level, beyond the fact just their general approach to the game and lack of communication. But again, yeah, like that would be. I'm trying to think what what would be. It would be like, I mean, you're saying with a map pack, yeah, it would be like this. You cannot play the new competitive map. We're gonna remake Inferno. It'd be like if they released Inferno and then put it behind like a paywall, like DLC. Yeah. It was like you can't play Inferno with your friends or anybody else unless you download It's a $15 thing. We redid it though. It's really pretty. Yeah, that'd be the equivalent, too. And it would be fucking insane. People would. I don't know. Yeah,
that's another thing too. The player base for Modern Warfare Remastered is already dwindling. Like it peaks at 800 people, and now they're splitting the player base even more with this. It's just unbelievable.
Good stuff.
God damn it.
All right, so let's jump into the new releases. Katie, take us away.
Yes, let's. So first on the new releases is Dead Rising 4. Now you might think to yourself, this game has already been out.
Yes.
Well, it has already been out.
In the Windows Store.
But this is
right?
Yes, it has been on the Windows Store and Xbox One.
Yes.
I assume Microsoft figured that if they had actually wanted a competent amount of sales on a PC platform, they should move it to Steam. So,
yep.
Yeah, Dead Rising 4 on March 14th. The same game you know and love
maybe
is going to come on Steam. And actually, it's full price, but it has a pre-order discount of 20%, so you can get it for $47.99, which is it's a pretty big, for a new title. It's a pretty big discount. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't just lower the retail price this game's been out for. I mean, more than a month or two. So, anyways, but if you want to get in on that, if you're so against the Windows, the Windows Store, that piece of shit, you can finally get it on Steam on March 14th. Next up is this game called Styx: Shards of Darkness, and there was apparently a first game called like Styx, like Mastery of Shadows, which is like a stealth game. You play as a goblin. I never played it, but apparently it's got some kind of following because they made a sequel to it. It's developed by Cyanide Studios, who made Pro Cycling Manager, so that's a competent, developer for stealth games.
The screenshots look fucking insane. Like, it looks beautiful, but I'm not really getting a sense for the gameplay. Do they have?
Yeah.
What the hell?
I mean, I remember it being one of the games you get for free for PlayStation Plus 1 month, so I might want to go back and try like the first game to see. But I mean, yeah, visually it does look pretty nice. But yeah, retailing $39.99, on sale if you pre-order for $35.99, 10% off. So pick that up if you're a fan of the Styx series, which I know no one that has played it. And the last two games. This game, I normally don't really talk about games that are still in early access, but this game just looks too good. So if you're like me, you like coffee. And if you're also like me, you also like fencing.
You're going to say fencing? Oh, my God.
Fencing. I don't really care for fencing. But this game is called Fence, which is a pretty goddamn clever title because also there's offense in there. Fencing. Damn.
Jesus.
This is a fighting game where you attack your opponent by slinging around your cup of coffee. And the idea is that when you attack, your health bar is how much coffee is in your cup. And when you attack the other person, the coffee spills out of their cup. And so your coffee cup kind of operates in maybe like a slingshot. And so you can scoop their coffee to raise your health. And you can also sip your own coffee for a damage buff, it looks like. So I would love to see this game at EVO next year. There's definitely some potential. Pretty out there premise.
It really is.
But
I
don't know what's the thing.
I want to know what kind of fucking drugs whoever made this game was on when they were like, this is like clearly like this is like a serious high thought idea coming together. Like, dude.
Oh yeah, it is.
Dude, we love coffee. We love fencing, dude. You make it. Let's fucking call fence, dude. Like what the? Like even looking at the gameplay, it looks so fucking janky, dude. It looks so. Why?
Yeah, it looks a little interesting, you know. But and I love reading the early access kind of like thing they put there. It says like we are a very small team of 3 developers and we want as much feedback as we can get. So, I mean, in an ideal world, I want Coffense to have like AAA publishing to be like. Can we get the developers of Street Fighter to hop on Coffense?
Help them out.
Just propel this. Oh yeah. But March.
This next one. Sorry, I jumped ahead, Katie. This next one.
Yeah. Coffense, March 14th. No word on a price yet, but I'm if it's like no more than $10. I don't even think I'll spend $10 on it. But this game, I mean, it might be fun for LAN this year. With some Coffense.
Yeah, maybe.
But lastly on this list, every week on Steam, there's a usual amount of shit to wade through when you're looking at the new releases coming out, and this week is no different. This game it's called My Boyfriend, He Loves Me Not. It is the debut game from Exozet Games. And the trailer for the game has no gameplay. It's just a flipping magazine of a girl talking about boys or something. And the screenshots, they're very special. You're walking around a beach, and you're talking to various hot boys.
Yes.
And the feature list says you can create your very own Mr. Perfect and experience the love of your life. You can master amazing mini games like Hacky Sack.
Dancing and step aerobics. Wow.
Yes.
Katie's in.
Yes.
What the hell, dude?
Can I
we have to talk about it.
Can I say minimum specs? I don't know if anybody's going to be able to handle this. Windows XP Service Pack 2. You need a dual core 2 gigahertz, 1 gig of RAM, 256 megabyte graphics card, and at least, this is the kicker, you have to have 500 megabytes of available disk space.
Whew.
I mean, come on.
Holy shit. I got to clear some space out, man. That's
fucked
Jesus
up.
Christ.
Again, Katie's in. What the hell, dude?
Listen, I didn't
Why
pick
is this
game
in
out
this?
of my...
Yes, you did.
Well, no, not out of my personal taste. I picked this because I want people to get an idea of just what can make it onto Steam if people vote for it. Well, actually, no, this wasn't even a greenlight game, but just what can make it onto Steam.
Yeah.
You know,
perfect.
Like, and I'm just looking at the about this game, and there's just this random banner for Anakids showing a little girl hugging a dog with several cats. This is quite an interesting game. But the people need to know, Brad. Am I going to buy this? No. I don't expect anyone to buy it. This is educational.
I don't want anybody to click this. Like why are we... This hurts.
It's
all the best games do.
It's 2017.
Yeah. Can't discriminate against any game, no matter how shitty we may perceive it, because who knows what it identifies as. All right. Let's move on. Katie, thank you so much for doing the new releases.
No problem.
Let's move on to the viewer questions. And this first one is an email. And it starts, "Hey, everyone. Recently, I have gotten into quite a pickle with a coworker. We were discussing video games, and he brings up Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and how he was a, in quotes, beast and god like quickscoper. So naturally, I asked him if he wants to 1v1 when we get off work. Now, I don't carry last-gen consoles with me as I travel for work. I do have my PS4 and the most recent Call of Duties. So I started up Call of Duty 4 Remastered, and we got at it. I 20-0 him 3 games in a row. 20-0. That's savage. 3 games in a row, and he leaves the room at full tilt. This ugly breadcrumb then proceeds to say he's still better than me, and this argument goes on for a few days. So I decide to go out and purchase a PS3 and Modern Warfare 2. Wow. He's literally purchasing old consoles to settle this dispute. We 1v1. Damn. I 20-0'd him again, and then I returned it the same day. My question is, He returned the console. I love that he bought it and then set it up and then beat him and was like, I have my receipt still. It's fine. My question is, should your skill in a first-person shooter transfer over from game to game? This goes for any game as well, saying like NBA 2K16 to 2K17 or Source to CSGO.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, he's not done, Katie. Sorry. Hold on. We're not done.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
He also said, sorry for being so long-winded. Wilma Cuck. Wilma Cuck. Okay.
Smiley face.
Smiley face. Smiley face.
Not even a smiley face. It's a smiley face with the nose.
Yeah.
How many people do you know that add that hyphen?
That's true. Not many
nose?
people do the nose.
That's commitment.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think absolutely though. I think
Yeah,
shooter
like,
skill transfers in general, if you're at least competent in most shooters, I think it helps.
Because there were just basic things like, game sense and, like positioning that pretty much transfer to almost every FPS. But as far as like controls and things go, I know some of the Call of Duties like kind of have different sensitivities for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, it absolutely. It's not like there's a radical difference. I mean, guns operate pretty much identically between Call of Duties.
I think it depends.
It's not like
yeah.
Go
No,
ahead.
you're right. They do pretty much. I think one thing that's a little bit different. It's not so much aim or anything like that. It's if you play a game, if you're used to playing a game that's fast paced or Twitch shooter based, and then you try to go into something that's way more sim, then that's a whole different skill set. Do you know what I mean?
So
like if you're gonna go play
yeah.
Arma, because you play Counter-Strike, has nothing to do. Like it's not even close because Arma's trying to simulate a more realistic experience, and so maybe I guess maybe mechanically you could learn and get good, but it depends on the franchise. It's not guaranteed. Like just because you're shooting guns in it doesn't mean that you'll be good at it.
So that I think my example would be like me trying to play an RTS. Like I got so rolled playing like StarCraft or
sure.
like something like Age of Empires, where normally I would be a little better than some of my friends at like Counter-Strike or some FPS or something, but like they definitely do not translate well to an RTS. Like I just like I can't keep up. Like honestly,
yeah,
it's I don't know. And like the other thing is, I was thinking about like if I was my friend, or my friend was talking shit, and I played on the PlayStation, and I've been playing on the PC for years. Like I know for a fact I would get rolled. Like because like my skills may carry over, but like the actual input and like how you control and everything, like there's just no doubt about it. I mean, KBMOD's the best, dude. Like, but like, I don't know. I'm garbage when I like now I pick up a controller. Like,
oh yeah.
I just
no.
Not even close.
Nope.
Like
it would take a long and and to the point that it would take me so long to even become where I would see myself as competent again with the controller. That's not even to play a shooter. I mean, to play a shooter competitively or at the level that I want to play it, I'm never gonna fucking use a controller. I can appreciate the skill of like professional like optic players, watching them play like the new Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, right? Infinite Warfare.
Yeah.
And I can like watch and I'm like, how the fuck are they doing this with a controller? It blows my mind that they can be that fast and precise. They're at the absolute upper echelon of what you can do with a fucking piece of plastic in your hands and joysticks. So that's impressive to me. I also go, man, my God, if these guys were on PC, they'd be fucking you know what I mean? They'd be insane. They'd be machines. Because if they can do at this level of precision with a controller, you'd give them a mouse and keyboard for the love of God. But, yeah, I agree with that too, Brad. It doesn't necessarily also do platform and stuff, and it doesn't necessarily transfer. Okay, well there you go, Wilma. So yes and no is our answer. I guess depends. Not maybe more nuanced. Okay, so our next question comes from Alex Kissel on Twitter, and he asks us, how long into dating someone would you tell them you're a expert juggler?
That's something you want to get right out of the way. I mean, that is what will secure a long-lasting relationship.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's what will reel them in. If there's ever any doubt that you're succeeding with a woman or a man, you need to throw that out there. And if you don't know how to juggle expertly, you need to learn immediately. Amen.
That's good. That's good. No, okay. Yeah, I kind of agree. It depends on how into it you are too, though. You know what I mean? Like if it's just a hobby, or like if it's like something that's you're really invested in, and then you start juggling in front of like your significant other, and they're like, "Oh, you didn't tell me you did this," but they're not impressed. You know, there's so many things that could go wrong. They're just like, "Oh, I didn't know you juggled."
That's true. Yeah.
But you're like, "This is my life passion, and I've been hiding it," and they don't even give it. They're like, "Oh, whatever. That's kind of cool."
Yeah.
You're right.
And you don't
See,
want
I would hide it. I would hide it and then surprise them. I was like, "Oh yeah, you didn't know?"
Oh, I juggle.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
you don't
I
want
think it
your
could be a cool
expert
thing. I don't
juggling.
think it has to be negative either. That's true.
Well, there's the chance that your expert juggling could get in the way of your relationship and kind of distance yourselves, because at the end she'll be like, you know, who's it gonna be, me or the balls?
That's right. Oh.
So you don't want that to happen.
Great point.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, that's been a problem for me in the past. I guess that's true.
Yeah, definitely. You love those balls. I agree though. Yeah, I think you. Okay, so some people in chat are saying no, you surprise her with it. It's like kind of a cool thing. Getting out of the way though could be good. Like, you know,
if I was on a date with somebody and they just dropped that they were an expert juggler, like, I mean, I'd find that odd. But think of just like juggling is not an easy thing to do. Like, think about how those skills will translate over to other activities. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Again, answering only the most pressing, important questions of our time here on the KBMOD podcast, episode 269. We've got
69.
We've got 69. We should have an echo. 69.
69.
We've got one more email question from Lewis, and he asks us, "Greetings to all of you from the Midwest again. I hope you're all doing well. My question for the cast this evening is, has a piece of art, whether it be in a game, song, movie, or otherwise, ever legitimately changed your life? And if so, how and what was it?" Dang, we're going deep here. "I personally can't imagine how different it would be if I hadn't heard my dad's Black Sabbath records at a young age. Years later, I play guitar, wear my hair long, and still listen to heavy music, and I can't help but attribute part of that to hearing those songs at such a young age. Keep up all the great work you guys do. Sincerely, Lewis." Dang.
Thank you, Lewis.
Dang. Yes, thank you, Lewis. And, good question. Okay. So, yeah, he's given us so music, video games, movies, any piece of art that really influenced how you behave or live your life now.
I think it might have been the first time I ever played Dark Souls taught me that I don't need to go out at night.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Fucking Dark Souls, dude.
I mean, for me, I don't know if it's one piece of like. I mean, obviously, I'm trying to think like what game really like fucking blew my mind and made me be like, I want to like either do something with video games for a living. I mean, I always wanted to. I think actually reading, this is not true. So I used to really be in I used to get Game Informer and the official PlayStation magazine. Those were two of the magazines that I used to love and cherish because I lived for 4 years of my life. I lived in a country called Guyana, South America, and had very limited access to any kind of entertainment or anything. So I would get these sent to me, like a couple issues. Like they weren't sent directly there. I would send to somebody in the U.S. and then they would save a couple months worth of issues and they would send it to me in a package, and I would get them and I would just pour over them for like I would read like the May issue, like let's say like the 2000 issue of official PlayStation magazine from May. I could probably recite pages of that shit to you because of how many times I read it. And so, because there wasn't, front to back, like every article, every nuance, like, man, one day I'm going to play this game or whatever else. So I think I think gaming media in a way, like, and the old school style, not like the blogs and shit and stuff and Kotaku and stuff like we have now. But the good stuff, like KBMOD, go to kbmod.com, by the way.
Absolutely.
Good gaming journalism and reviews. But I guess I don't know if we would call ourselves gaming journal. Okay, all right, Brandon's not here. It's getting off track. He'd be like, okay, careful what you're saying, Scott. But no, so yeah, so I would say like those magazines definitely impacted me, and I was like, I definitely want to do something with video games when I grow up. So
okay,
yeah.
You want to come back to me? You want to go, Brad?
Man, I'm like conflicted because I was just thinking to myself, like, what has impacted me to where I'm at today, like the most?
Sure.
And it's like, what has convinced me to go into this industry I'm trying to get into or any of that? And I was just thinking, like, how do I weigh like the Game Boy that I had more than like maybe the Game Awards shows on G4 every year, like how do I weigh that more than something else? Like I just don't know. Question is, has a piece of art, or whether it be a game, song, or movie, or otherwise legitimately changed my life? I don't know. Like that's so tough. Star Wars was my shit. I don't know. I feel like that got me into
that would work.
Science fiction for like forever, and games in general and stuff like that. Like I played, like one of my first games I ever played was with my dad on the Sega Genesis, and that was a Star Wars game. So yeah, maybe that. I don't know. Seeing that movie. Yeah, I don't know. Kitty Zen?
I mean, God damn it. If I had to give a serious answer, I would.
It's still Dark Souls, isn't it? That's why you're laughing.
Yeah.
I knew it.
I mean,
I knew it.
Like, no, but seriously, when I played Bloodborne, that's when I knew that like video games were art, because that game is just a pure, like, imaginative artistic vision, and like that, and then it just made me think, video games are just video games and movies. Like I wanted to, like, people putting their stories out there and their ideas out there, and I think there's something really special about that. And so that's what kind of drove me to, like, I was always kind of like, tentative about following, or wanting to seriously pursue video games as a career, because I'm trying to get into like game development now. So and that's when Bloodborne, playing that and seeing that kind of convinced me that like my ideas are worth something, and it's worth going for. And just how, like, or maybe just seeing like how indie games in general are getting super popular, just how easy it is for people to get their ideas and express themselves out there like that through video games. So just yeah, but Bloodborne mostly. Also, that was the first time I ever got a boner, was when I played Bloodborne, so it pretty much changed my life.
I was about to ask, with you sucking from Software's dick so much, are you hoping to get a job with them at some point? Is that what this is all about? Like,
potentially.
This is gonna get clipped and put on their subreddit, and Katie Zen's about to be the newest employee at From Software.
#1 spokesperson. Yep. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I opened the video with like wiping my mouth off, adjusting my seat.
Adjusting your seat or your seed on your lips. Okay, I'm done. Well, all right. All right.
The seed in my seat. That's why I'm adjusting.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. So yeah, that's when I knew I wanted to do stuff with video games.
Got it. All right, good question by Lewis. Appreciate the email. All right, and then obviously this is where we move on to the iTunes podcast review of the week, and I feel like this is because I feel like this got translated before and it was the same question, so I think this might be a repost review if possible, even though this was March 6th, because I remember getting this question that was translated from it, because somebody did that for us, and or not translated, but
well, let's give them a little context.
Yeah,
here. So we got a review.
Give them the context. Translated
by Ivana Jerk It Off.
Yeah.
God.
And we'd love to read it, but the problem was it's all in binary.
Yes, exactly.
So, and so we had to rely on the chat because it was like, oh my god, we don't have time to do this while we prepare for the podcast. So this could be the actual translation for all we know, like conversion, or chat could be trolling us, which knowing Twitch.
It could be a troll.
This could be
the reason I'm saying that I think it is because I think I had somebody, I don't know. This is I know we've had this question before, but this could be the actual question. It might have been somebody else that asked this a while ago, so it could just be coincidence. But it's a fair question.
I think the question you were thinking about was this kid was the guy was going to college, or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think it is the same then. I think it is different.
Yeah, the question that Ivana Jerk It Off asked is, I am moving out to a studio apartment in less than a month. Do you guys / gals have any tips for this life event? Well, Katie Zen can't answer because he's never moved out from his parents' house. So
yep, that's true. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you for that.
I mean, I just knew from your the way you were describing Dark Souls earlier, and then I just came to that conclusion on my own. So
never left my room really after that.
After Dark Souls, you've been sucking on the teat of From Software for so long.
Yeah, I mean, when you just can play Dark Souls all day and then go to work at Family Video for the rest of the day.
All right, you just keep going, huh?
The memes.
Answer the question, Bradley.
Oh, sorry. Anyways, when I first moved to a studio, I think the one thing I didn't consider was how expensive heat was.
That's true.
And then
paying, yeah, that's a great point.
And then deposits for shit. So not only like your apartment, but like setting up Comcast or like your power or whatever else. Like there's always fees, setup fees, deposits.
Yep. I mean, on the plus side, be very excited that you will be masturbating in so many different places. Like you can, dude, you've got full reign. So if you want to masturbate in the kitchen, dude, feel free. You know, well, I guess you're in a studio, so it's all pretty much one room. So you know, the portion of your studio, if you have a kitchenette, you can jerk off in there, and you know, you can jerk off in the all corners of your studio. That's great. So you have freedom. So while Brad is right, there's a lot of actual responsibilities. Like you said, like, you know, heat, electric, and all that kind of stuff. Don't let the excitement of living on your own hinder your desire to masturbate.
Actually, enjoy it while you can, because there's not many times where you can go out to the living room and just beat it, you know?
Exactly.
So,
yeah, like appreciate the situation that you're in, because even then, like maybe you'll get a roommate eventually or whatever else, and you'll be relegated to just jerking off in front of your computer like all the plebs that, you know, that are here. But, you know, it's pretty exciting.
Is that really your advice, Scott?
That's it. Just appreciate that's
masturbation.
That's it.
It's like, I don't know what else enjoy it while you can, dude.
Enjoy it. Embrace
it.
Whole
new world opens up.
That's it. That's all for me. I mean, I know, Katie Zen, you haven't experienced it yet, but do you have any? I mean, you can throw. It doesn't mean you can't throw out tips.
Believe me.
Yeah, let's.
You can throw.
When the house is empty.
Oh God.
It's heaven.
Oh no.
Close all the blinds, lock all the doors, take off all the clothes. It's over.
That's sort of disgusting, actually.
I mean, it's not like I sit on furniture or anything.
Oh, Katie. That's true, though. That's true. I know. Yeah, those home feels when you live at home and then everybody's gone. It's like, whew, we're gonna have some fun.
I'm free.
Yeah,
at last.
Absolutely free.
I can play Dark Souls in the family room.
Naked.
Oh,
no. Oh man. All right. Well, great.
Anyways,
thank you for that review. If you would like to leave a review yourself, which you absolutely should, all you need to do is get your iTunes account, which you already have, log into it, find KBMOD, and type a review. Give us 5 stars. That is what we deserve. We don't read reviews that are less than 5 stars because we deserve 5. But give us 5, and then you can ask us a question like this. You can give us your opinions on the podcast. It's pretty open-ended, as you no doubt have heard if you've listened to this podcast for a while. So thank you, Ivana. Jerk it off. Jerk it off. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for episode 269. It was a good one, guys. We got into some good stuff, as always, as we tend to do here. Check out the stuff on kbmod.com that we talked about. Always good content going up there. The Too Dark review by Chad, and then, or First Look, I'm sorry, and then the Desync video review by Tim. Both newer content that has gone up since the last time we spoke. Obviously, you can follow KBMOD Gaming on Twitter at KBMOD Gaming. I am at APL Fisher. Brad is at Hutchison15. Katie Zen is at Katie Zen 18. Felician is at 111111. And I think he's back next week. I'm not 100% sure, but we will see. So thanks again, guys. Appreciate the continued support as we have just crested episode 269. We'll see you next week for episode 270. And yeah, thanks for listening. Farewell.